Hello everyone. In this video lecture we will study the topics of compensation management. Under this we will study compensation process, wage concept, designing compensation system, and the last one, compensation philosophies. So let's start with the video lecture. So the first we will study the compensation management process. So in order to achieve the objectives of compensation management, it should proceed as a process. The compensation management process has a various sequential steps as shown. So the first one is the organization's strategy. So organizational overall strategy is the starting point in the total human resource management process, including compensation management. Companies operating in different types of market product having varying level of maturity adopt different strategies and matching compensation strategy and blend of different compensation methods. Thus, it can be seen that organizations follow different strategies in different market situations and align their compensation strategy and content with this strategy. So, second step is a compensation philosophy. So compensation policy is derived from organizational strategy and its policy on overall human resource management. In order to make the compensation management to work effectively, the organization should clearly specify its compensation policy, which must include the basic of determining base compensation, incentives and benefits, and also the various types of prerequisites to various level of employees. Now the third step in compensation process is analysis of contingent factors. The compensation plan is always formulated in the light of various factors, both external and internal, which affect the operations of human resource management system. Various external factors are conditions of human resource market, cost of living, level of economic development, social factors, pressure of trade unions, and various labor laws dealing with compensation management. And various internal factors of are ability to pay of employers, employees related factors such as work performance, seniority, skills, etc. So these factors may be analyzed through the wage and salary survey. Now, the fourth step is designing and implementation of compensation plan. So, after going through the above steps, the organization may be able to design its compensation plan, incorporating base compensation with provision of wage and salary increase over the period of time, various incentive plans and benefits and prerequisites. Now, the last step is the evaluation and review of compensation process. So, compensation plan is not a rigid and fixed one, but it is a dynamic since it is affected by variety of factors which are dynamic. So, therefore, compensation management should have a provision for evaluating and reviewing the compensation plan. So, this all are the five steps of compensation plan. So next we will study wage concept. So there are the three concept of wages: minimum wage, fair wage, and living wage. So let us study all of this one by one. So the first one is minimum wage. So minimum wage stands for different standard for different countries. So it provide not merely for the bare substances of life, but for the preservation of efficiency of workers, so that the workers will continue with the work. So thus a minimum wage is one which may be sufficient to enable a worker to live in reasonable comfort, having regards to all the obligations to which an average worker would ordinarily be subject. Means that the worker can fulfill his minimum bare requirements. So this is about the minimum wage. The Fair Wage Committee in India has observed that India, the low level of income has to decide the minimum wage. So for this the minimum wage committee has been set up. So the objective of minimum wage is that to secure a wage equal to workload, to raise the wage in industry, to promote the peace in industry, and also to raise the standard of living and efficiency of workers. So this is about minimum wage. Second wage concept is fair wage. Say fair wage is that to bring the movement to bring the movement in relation with the labor and management in industrial truce resolution. Resolution was passed in 1947, which is provided for the payment of fair wage of labor. So government of India has also appointed the fair wage committee in 1948, and the committee report was published in 1949. So this committee has decided the fair wage for the workers at that time. So the fair wage has been defined by the Marshall and Pigou. So Marshall says that in a given time, industry wage are fair relatively in industry in general. So lower limit of fair wage must be minimum wage for the workers, and upper limit must be industry capacity to pay. So, however, between these two limits, following where various kinds of factors have been considered, like first one, the productivity of labor, the prevailing rate of wages in the same or a neighboring locality, the place of industry in the economy, and also the level of national dividend and its distribution in the country. Now, the next concept is the living wage. So living wage, that it represents the higher level of wage, and it would include all the amenities which a citizen living in a modern civilized society can afford. Means that living wage is for your employees, not for the laborers. So where the employees can fulfill all its amenities while working. So, after considering various observations made by the Indian authorities, the Committee on Fair Wage observed that living wage should enable to male earners to provide for himself and his family the bare essentials of food, clothing, shelter, but a measure of frugal comfort, including duration for children, protection against the ill health, requirement of essential social needs, measure for insurance against and more important misfortunes, including the old age. So these are the things. These are considered under the living wage system. Now, next we will study designing a compensation system. So, a compensation design process can help an organization to achieve a balance and also the successful pay plans. So, while each company may need to make a methodology for designing the compensation systems, a compensation system. So, there are generally the four steps. So, these are the four phases in the compensation system. So the first phase is the initial assessment. So the initial assessment analysis help compensation professionals develop a clear understanding of business goals and ensure all the parties, including the key stakeholders, are in agreement about how the compensation decisions will be made. So the various types of informations and assessments are done under the internal assessment phase. First one is conduct the management interview, review roles and responsibilities, analyze current compensation practices, analyze performance management programs, etc. Now the second phase is the external assessment. So this phase requires organization to analyze external factors such as select the external benchmark jobs, conduct competitive analysis, determine the compensation structure, compare employees compensation levels, etc. Now the third phase is that design of incentive plans, all for short term as well as for long term. So, in order for this phase to be executed properly, companies should have a system for tracking performance as well as effectiveness for their incentive plans. That way, they can verify that the plans they have developed are actually supporting the business strategy as intended. So, this phase includes the steps such as determining the appropriate level of incentive awards, select performance measures, determine the incentive formula, and present alternatives for consideration. Now, the fourth step in designing a compensation system is communication plan. So, the final phase involves the two step for developing plans so that the compensation plan can be effectively communicated to the workforce. The first step is that update the compensation policy manual, and the second step is design the communication meeting. So, in this way, the designing of compensation system can be done in the organization. Now, the next topic we will study is the compensation philosophies. So, compensation philosophy refers to the set of a guiding principles that drive decision making about compensation. In compensation philosophy, the firm will spell out that what it makes the choice it does about how to pay employees. So, this philosophy differs from business to business. So, all companies with employees must determine how and what to pay their workers, when to offer the things like raise, bonuses, and other incentives. For this, they have evolved what is called as compensation philosophy. So this is about compensation philosophy. Next we will study the types of compensation philosophy. So there are two types of compensation philosophies. First one is the productivity philosophy and the second one is the purchasing power philosophy. So let us first study the productivity philosophy. So productivity philosophy is related to the high wage and low unit cost of production. So which assumes that first assumption is that the employers should provide the best possible tools, machines, and goods and buildings, etc. So while the management should apply the latest production technique in the organization. Second assumption is that the production should increase without the use of commensurate physical efforts of employees. So while the unit cost of production should decrease, leading to the lower price of goods. Third assumption is that the market of goods should be expand and leading to the enhanced sales volume. Basically means that there is an increase in sales of goods and services produced by the organization. Now the last assumption is that the resultant enhanced profit should be used to increase the wage of employees and the remaining can be plowed back to the business. So these are the assumptions of productivity philosophy. Now, the next assumption is the purchasing power philosophy. So, the there are it also contains the four assumption. So, the first one is that the workers should be paid high wage because they form a large proportion of workforce and are equipped with a high propensity to consume. So it result in the expansion in the company's purchasing power and also the supply of products. And now the second assumption is that effective demand for a goods and services must be enlarged. Now the third assumption is that productivity per worker should increase while the unit cost of production should be decreased, leading to enhancement in the profit of organization. Now the fourth assumption is that increased wages should be paid from this enhanced income to average the cycle. So these are the two types of compensation philosophies. Thank you for listening it very patiently.